Hey guys, I totally forgot when I was editing this that I didn't film any kind of intro. It just kind of goes into the video and it's a little bit abrupt. So I figured I would just jump on here to say hi, number one, welcome to another video. I've been on that grind lately, so I'm trying to put stuff out for YouTube more consistently. The other thing, this project is probably one of the best projects I've ever made. This is like the pinnacle of my DIY skill at the current moment. So I hope you guys enjoy. And today's project is going to be a Simone Rocha knockoff skirt. I love knockoff designer, especially when you have to pay like $7 for it. For like a $600 skirt. It's great. Anyway, yeah, enjoy the video. I look absolutely insane, but this is always how I look when I'm sewing. I'm not looking cute, okay? I have to sew. I'm drafting, I'm doing math. I don't want to look nice for that. So this is just going to be my general appearance. You're just going to have to put up with it. But I'm currently working on drafting the initial pattern for the Simone Rocha skirt knockoff dupe that I'm going to make. Following at Capua, K-A-P-U-A on TikTok, she has kind of a not super in-depth, but like a general tutorial on how she recreated the skirt. Slightly deviating from her tutorial because I want to do something different with the asymmetry. I'm not going to do the asymmetry exactly how she does it. But the first thing that you have to do when you're making this skirt is to make a quarter circle skirt pattern. Now, there's like a million tutorials on how to do this. A circle skirt pattern is literally like the basic bare bones sewing skills. This is like one of the easiest patterns you will ever make. The quarter circle skirt being the easiest. First thing you do is take your waist measurements. So the smallest part of your waist, take measurements with one of these. Ruler is not going to cut it. After that, you're going to have to do some math. There should also be a diagram on the screen right now, basically showing you how you should lay down your measurements to create the quarter circle skirt pattern. So that's what I'm doing right now. When I finish cutting out the quarter circle skirt and installing the zipper, I will get back to you. Okay, so it's been a hot second and I have my half circle skirt, quarter circle skirt pattern completed. The length for my circle skirt, I did about 16 inches just based off of where I want the skirt to sort of drop off. This pattern is without seam allowance. So when you're cutting your fabric, make sure to give yourself 1 to 2 inches of seam allowance so you don't accidentally make it too small. Very cool. Okay, so at this point, I've officially cut out the waistband portion. And I'm going to install a zipper connecting both sides so I don't have to do the crazy mental gymnastics of how to install it in the back. I gave myself more salvage on the top because I want to serge and then top stitch it instead of having to do like a double hem or some shit, like a rolled hem. I hate doing rolled hems. It pisses me off. So I'm going to serge the top, which is why the top has more salvage. Plus, most of this is getting cut off on the bottom. And because I'm installing a zipper, the sides also have way more salvage too. So, on to adding the zipper. Something that really pisses people off when I sew on the floor. It's bad for your back. It's bad for your projects. Don't do it. I don't condone it. I just don't really have desk space right now. So most of my sewing projects happen on the floor. I know, it's stupid. Oh, actually, I realized that I'm gonna have to serge the top hem before I install this zipper or else it's gonna be really fucking whack. So, okay, I'm gonna serge the top and then install the zipper and then we'll get to doing the bottom portion of the skirt. The edge of this is officially overlocked, so now I'm going to install the zipper and hope for the best. Like, big time. The zipper is installed. I picked a zipper that was blue because it matches really nice with the little details in the fabric, and also I don't have any invisible zippers on hand. That's something I have like 8 different exposed zippers and not one singular fucking invisible zipper, so I picked a blue one. Also, it was the longest one, and I need a fair bit of zippage so I can get this up over my chunky thighs. But anyway, sew down the side, and then I'm gonna trim the bottom so that we get the shape. And then the waistband will be done. It's officially been like 3 hours. I also ended up, as a side note, I also ended up serging the fabric. Let me tell you, I've never installed a zipper with serged sides before. I wish I had done that years ago. Years ago. I've never had an easier time installing a zipper, number one. Ugh, and it's so nice that I just have to seam it together and I'm just like done and I can just move on. Because holy shit. So this is what we have so far of the skirt. It's literally just a circle skirt. I've run into a problem with the zipper though, and that's that the top of the zipper was kind of fucked up. So it didn't properly sew. I'm gonna have to go back in. I'm gonna actually hand sew this because it's gonna piss me off otherwise. But other than that, I'd say this is a pretty well-made starter circle skirt. It matches me pretty good and it fits really nice. I'm really excited to add the body and make the silhouette more interesting because it's kind of boring right now. So it's day 2. My hair is drying. That's why it's wet. No other reason. And for now that the top portion of the skirt is finally done, nice and tailored, clean, as much as I can manage clean. My sewing projects never end up super clean, but now that that's finished, the next step and the last step in terms of cutting things out, unless you add like other stuff to it, I don't know. The last step is going to be to cut out 2 rectangles or a giant rectangle depending on what your fabric looks like. You're supposed to measure around 2 to 3 times the amount of fabric as the circumference of the bottom of your skirt. So like the bottom of my skirt I think was around like, I don't know how much, I don't remember, but it was a decent amount. I think it was around 60 something or other, I don't know. So the length of my skirt should be around 120 inches, which is what I did. I had to cut out 2 rectangles because I didn't have enough fabric laying one way. So yeah, but that should be the length of your skirt, and then the height is just depending on how short or long you want it. So I did around 20 inches. So my giant skirt rectangle, by the time I end up, you know, actually attaching it, is going to be 120 by 20. So yeah, if you have to cut out multiple rectangles and attach them, it's okay. It doesn't have to be perfect. The idea is that the bottom is going to be gathered. So after you attach your 2 rectangles, which is what I'm going to do now, you're going to add a basting stitch, which I'll explain how to do in just a moment. Side note, I turned my skirt inside out now that the top is finished and the zipper is installed, and I just traced how I'm gonna cut out the skirt so I can add the stuff later. So this is the shape. Capua's is more, it has like a shorter cutoff, but I want mine to be a little bit longer, so that is to your liking, but yeah. So to do a stitch for gathers, you're going to have to turn your stitch length up to the highest that it can go, and make sure that you have a long string back here so that when you're actually pulling the gathers, you have more give. Doesn't really matter the width, and don't do a zigzag stitch, do a straight stitch. So I had mine on zigzag. Don't do that, put it on a straight stitch. So yeah, I'll see you back in a moment when I have put my gathering stitch on all that fabric. Okay, so the basic stitch is done. It took forever. My back hurts. Give yourself a decent amount of room because I am going to overlock this when it's done. So give yourself a good inch to do this stitch. And just try to keep it consistent as much as possible. It doesn't have to be perfect, but as best as you can, folks. This is very beginner friendly because you can get away with this. Plus, this is an asymmetrical skirt. They're not going to see it a lot very well, so just about an inch from the top. Cool. Now, to actually gather your fabric, you take, actually I'm gonna go all the way to the other end where the tails are super long, up here. Super long tails, right? And you separate, you grab one, and then you just start pulling. And you see how that starts to gather the fabric like this? Just keep pulling until it's around the size of the circumference of the bottom of your skirt. The skirt is now all pinned. So your skirt should be pinned. Very cool. When you sew this down, don't sew above the basting stitch, sew below the basting stitch, or else your gathers will come undone, and we don't want that. So make sure you sew below the basting stitch. Very cool. I will get back to you when that's done. It looks so good. I'm in disbelief. I look a mess, but you can't see it. First of all, I ended up adding a hook and eye closure because the zipper kept going undone. So if you have an exposed zipper like mine, I recommend adding a hook and eye closure. But oh my god, like holy shit, this looks so cool. I want to get a better angle of this. I pretend like my room isn't a mess, but like are you serious right now, bruh?
Are you serious right now, bro?
Are you serious right now? Are you serious right now, bruh? It looks so good. I don't think I've ever made anything this good in my life. But like, it looks gorgeous. It looks gorgeous. Like, look at that. It looks so cool. And I love that I picked this pattern. I still have to, it's fully not done. I have to hem the bottom. This is still like a raw edge right now. So I have to hem the bottom, and I'm going to overlock the inside this stitch right here. I'm gonna overlock it so it doesn't look super messy on the inside, and then I'm gonna top stitch it, just like Couture does in her video, because I want this skirt to be well made. And the top is like probably one of the best things I've ever made, but then the bottom needs to like match that. So bro, this is like one of the best things I've ever made. Anyway, I'll get back to you when it's actually done. So I ended up top stitching this and serging / overlocking the inside. It looks like this. This thing is rock solid. It is not coming apart. And I like that the ruffles lay flatter, so they don't look weird when I'm wearing it on my body, or they don't like poke out in certain places. So this is looking really good. Now the only thing I have to do is hem the skirt, and she's all done. So that's it. The skirt project is done. I loved making this skirt. It's definitely one of the most beginner-friendly tutorials I've ever seen, and one of the most beginner-friendly projects I've made, which is crazy because I always end up jumping in to do things that I'm definitely not qualified to be doing. They always turn out kind of okay, but this one was probably the best thing I've ever made. I definitely recommend it for most beginners. It has a lot of skills, like semi-moderate to advanced skills, but it uses very basic concepts. So if you just want to start with a quarter circle skirt and then upgrade it, this is like a pretty easy to moderate project for any beginner sewist. The other great thing about this project, I got my fabric from the thrift store. This is a very easy project to source. I bought a $7 sheet. I still have a shit ton of fabric left over. I'm probably gonna make a top or something, I don't know, or maybe like a teddy bear. I'm still thinking about it, but it's super easy to make, definitely an affordable project. The most expensive thing on the materials list would be your sewing machine, but if you're a sewist, you probably already have one, and that's an investment. Or you can hand sew it if you're fucking crazy. I respect that if you do it, but it's insane. It would take me like a month to finish it if that's the case. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. I'm gonna be putting out more DIY videos soon. I have one planned. I'm actually gonna film it right now, but thanks for watching, guys. Go do your thing. Bye.